since I was a teenager, I worried about you getting cancer. Everyone in your family died of cancer. Your mom died of brain cancer, your dad of stomach cancer. Aunt Catherine and Uncle Warren, they suffered from cancer too. And they all died so quickly, within a month of being diagnosed. So when Mom called in 1985 and said you had cancer too, it was like a nightmare coming true. I wasn't surprised, just terrified. Your getting cancer was predictable, but the kind of cancer was not. I never knew men got breast cancer. Luckily, Mom noticed that you had an inverted nipple and insisted that you go to the doctor right away, and he immediately scheduled you for surgery. If she hadn't noticed, I have no doubt that your fate would have been the same as everyone else's in your family. You were always the strongest person in our family. We all relied on you. Even in the midst of your ordeal, you didn't disappoint us. Cancer is a horrible and tragic thing, but you were funny. I remember you telling me about your doctors. The first guy said to me, "You've got a sword of Damocles hanging over your head. You could die at any time." Then he died of a heart attack. My second doctor, also a clown, said something similar, and he died too. I'm beginning to think that my cancer is killing people. I remember too how embarrassed you looked at that party when Grandma was going around telling everyone about your illness. He has breast cancer, imagine that! Did you ever hear of a man who had breast cancer before? Amazing, isn't it? And you looked at me and you just rolled your eyes. That was Grandma. She had never had a reliable editor in her mind, did she? You were not only strong, you were stoical. You never complained through multiple surgeries, removing your lymph and breast tissue, chemotherapy and radiation. A year after it was all over, you gave me a little hint when you said, "I feel pretty good these days. I didn't feel so good last year." I never heard about the nausea, the tiredness, or the discomfort. Of course, I lived far away, but I bet you didn't even complain to Mom, did you? Then you went into remission. You decided to travel, spend money, do what you wanted to do. Mom wasn't always agreeable, but I kept thinking that you were right to get in as much living as you could. And I kept praying that the cancer wouldn't come back. And it didn't for a long time. But of course, cancer always comes back, or seems to. And in 1998, it came back with a vengeance. Susan called to tell me you and your mom had visited her and that you had a suspicious-sounding cough. This was in August. I was teaching in a summer program, and I couldn't come to San Diego to see you until it was over, in the middle of September. When I finally came to see you, you looked terrible. Thin and pale and unhappy. You could barely walk 10 steps before you had to sit down. I could tell that you hated being so weak. It was like part of your identity was gone. You were always strong, always good-humored, always in control, but no more. You said to me, "This can't go on. I have to get better or I have to die, one or the other." I knew, Mom knew, and you knew that you weren't going to get better. The cancer had gotten into your lungs and you were at stage 4. Every week you had to go to the hospital to get fluid drained from your lungs. They took gallons from you and your body just kept producing more, drowning you. I went with you to one of those treatments in chemotherapy, where the doctor told us, "We have to give the chemo a chance to work." This doctor wasn't predicting doom, but we all knew the truth. We couldn't talk about it, though. I hope you knew how much I loved you, how much I treasured my time with you. and everything that you ever said to me. Couldn't tell you because I am your daughter, and I can't talk about my feelings any more than you could. When we all came down to see you for the last time in October of 1998, we knew we were on a death watch. We didn't say so, of course. Michael and Susan brought their 2 kids, and Barry and I brought Joseph to come see you in the hospital, and you were sitting up when we smiled. When we got there, you smiled as if we were there for you to entertain us. A psychologist had told us beforehand that the visit would be less scary for Joey if he had something he could do for you. So we sat on your lap and read you a story. I wish I had taken a picture, but of course I hadn't the presence of mind to bring a camera. We still had the absurd hope that we might be able to make it to Thanksgiving. A hospice nurse told us that it's impossible to predict how long people will survive. She encouraged us to get you out of the hospital and into a more comfortable hospice. At least we could try to do something to make you more comfortable. Armed with a new optimism, we all went off to JCPenney's and bought you some new pajamas and a boombox and a few classic jazz CDs. Because we knew how much you loved jazz. Barry, Joey, and Susan's family went home, but Susan and I stayed with Mom. The next day, Mom couldn't bear to go to the hospital. She claimed that her chronic bronchitis was bothering her and acting up, and we knew that it was just too hard for her to see you. So, Susan and I made the trip to the hospital and brought you pajamas and boombox and CDs. Susan walked in first, and you yelled at her, "Go home, I might die tonight!" "But we want to stay with you," we said. That rejection was so painful, even though I understood it. You couldn't stand to have us see you in such a weakened state. You had rallied all the day before, but now you were done. And you wanted to die alone. We told you Mom would have come, but that her bronchitis was bothering her. Suddenly you were all concerned. "Is she okay?" You'd ask. I can't help but to think that if she had shown up, that you wouldn't have thrown her out of your room like you did us. Sitting at Mom's house, thinking about you in the hospital was the worst feeling I could ever imagine. From me being on death watch is like being nauseated. In fact, I was nauseated. I couldn't eat anything. I couldn't stand being in the hospital, and I couldn't stand not being there. The next day we had to come back one more time. The nurse said, "He's not responding. I don't know if he can hear you." I walked into the room and all I could say was, "You're the best." Pretty feeble, don't you think? At 2 a.m. I was lying in bed, not sleeping, of course, when I heard the phone ring. I knew what it meant, but I stayed in bed until Mom came to tell me that you were gone. You willed your own death, didn't you? "I have to get better or I have to die," you said. When it became clear that you couldn't get better, you made the choice to die. And you didn't want me to be a part of it. The next day was Halloween. I'd already booked my flight home that day. I had some feelings of guilt about leaving Mom, but I just couldn't stand all the terrible feelings I had. Somehow I thought it would be better if I got away from that house and all of the memories. Of course, I was only fooling myself. is 8 years later, and I still feel terrible whenever I think about it. I wish I insisted on staying with you. I wish I told you how I really felt. I wish I'd supported Mom more. I hope that death isn't final. That someday I'll be able to tell you how I really felt. Maybe you already know. Love you.
I was given a gift. Wrapped shabbily. It was non-returnable, non-refundable. Reluctantly, I accepted it. In it, I found courage I never knew existed, and a patience far beyond anything ever experienced. I was given the ability to trust a stranger with that most dear to me, and an endurance for the unknown. I was given unconditional love of family and friends, always there, never stopping, never faltering. I was given many prayers from far and wide, and the warmth of knowing that I am truly cared about. I was given a fond farewell of my modesty and vanity, and the acceptance and love of an imperfect body. I was given a strong shoulder to lean on, when that shoulder had once grown distant. I was given warm sunshine and beautiful green grass, blue skies and sparkling city lights. I was given many new friends, wonderful, courageous women I am so very proud to know. Laughter and good times more special than ever before. I was given a chance to wake up instead of sleepwalking through life. I was given every glorious day to enjoy life. I was given breast cancer.
Thank you everyone for being here tonight. If you'd like to make a donation, all the donations will be going to the American Cancer Society in hopes that breast cancer will be